good, everybody? Welcome to your SPARCPass news update for the week of February 7th, 2023. Welcome to the world of Xbox Game Pass. Allow me to be your guide. Let me welcome you in from the vast of space where I have pulled from the ether. Spencer, how are you, bud?
I am doing good, and I have to admit something to you.
Yes.
In that I forgot you can't see me when we do this show. You don't have
Yeah.
my camera. So
No.
I pointed at you like you could start talking. But you know, I'm good at this. I know how to do production.
It's fine. Listen, we're working out the kinks in the mechanism, you know? Like the month of Game Pass that we had in the last month has been wild. We're still working out how we do a news show. So like it's fine. Don't worry about it. Everything's good.
Listen, it worked in my brain, okay?
In your brain it was extremely effective. In my brain, I just started talking. Like, I mean, that's what I do. Like, at some point, I just sort of go, oh, there's silence. Allow me to fill that void with perpetual noise. Let's welcome.
That's the real reason I chose you to run the show with, because I knew that if I didn't have anything to say, you would.
Yeah, no, listen, a brother can talk. If I have one positive trait in my life, a brother can talk. What's good, everybody? Welcome to the SPARCPass News Update. Again, this is for the week of February 7th, and we've got a good amount of stuff to cover here. So let's take it from the top. What we're going to cover this week, the stuff that we know is coming to Game Pass in February, the stuff that we know is leaving Game Pass in February, a handful of games that you can check out that are coming to Game Pass through Steam Next Fest, a recap of Developer Direct, and an update from our fine friends at the Coalition, and maybe a little bit more if we have the time. But let's start it from the top, Spencer. We got games. They're coming to Game Pass. There's a good amount of them. You want to talk about it?
Yeah. What all do we have coming other than Atomic Heart?
There is a handful of things other than Atomic Heart, though we will get to Atomic Heart. That's at the bottom of the list. I have a couple of things that are out now that you can go play today. These got announced in the last set of Game Pass announcements that dropped on the same day as Developer Direct. So there's a handful of things that we know from that. I'll go over those really quick. Cloud console and PC, Darkest Dungeon is out now. That came on February 2nd. Darkest Dungeon's a great game. If you haven't played Darkest Dungeon, go pick that one up. I think the sequel is coming out like real soon too.
Yeah, I think it's like right around the corner.
Yeah, I think it's like a couple of weeks. So fortuitous for it to be on Game Pass at this time. If you've never played the original Darkest Dungeon, I would highly recommend giving that game a shot. The cloud version of Grid Legends, that is only available through EA Play because that's an EA property, but that's out now. If you haven't played, it's a racing game. It's fine.
High praise.
Yeah, like, it's fine. There are other better racing games on the platform, but Grid Legends is all right. Speaking of other better racing games on the platform, and we told you guys we'd give you an update on this one once we knew more. We know more now. Hot Wheels Unleashed is actually coming to Game Pass today. Right now. It just launched on Game Pass a couple hours ago. So you can now go play Hot Wheels Unleashed. We still don't know why the fuck it got delayed like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I guess we're just probably never going to know. Like, it had to have just been like a licensing thing, right? That's the only thing I can imagine.
It was either a licensing thing or it was on PS Plus as one of the free games. So maybe it was like they signed a contract that said you can't put it out 6 months after it's been on PS Plus or something like that. And it had been like 5 months and a week, right?
Yeah, so they were like, you gotta wait the other 3 weeks. And it's like...
Right, wag the finger. Some shit like that. I'm only assuming. I have no fucking clue.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense too, though, honestly. So
yeah. No clue why this got delayed like 3 weeks coming to Game Pass, but it's here now. And it's on cloud, which I don't think was the case before. I'd have to go back to the article and check for certain. I don't have my old notes anymore. Maybe that was it too. Maybe they wanted cloud implementation on launch. That's entirely possible. I don't know. Point being, Hot Wheels Unleashed, you can go play it. It's a very good arcade racing game. I know my brother really enjoyed it. He played it and reported in that he really liked it. So
have you gotten to play this yet?
I have not.
Okay, you haven't played it either. All right, cool.
Yeah. No. I was waiting for it to come to Game Pass. I haven't looked at it yet. So
Yeah. I think it looks fun. Everything I've seen about it looks good, so I'm down to play it.
Absolutely. Everything that I've heard about it seems like it's great. So I definitely want to give it a shot. So that's all the stuff that's in Game Pass as of today that you can go play right now. I have 2 games. One is technically a demo, but the other one is a full-fledged game, and that one you know about. The first one that we know for sure, February 13th, day before Valentine's Day. Hey, if you don't have a Valentine, I have a new Valentine for you. It's Wild Hearts. EA's new Monster Hunter-like is going to have a 10-hour trial via EA Play. So it's not the full game. Obviously, we know how EA Play works at this point. Basically, stuff comes out for a year from EA, and then like at the end of that calendar year, it's like, oh, okay, cool. All that stuff's in the EA Play vault now. It's mostly older stuff, right? So this game probably won't hit that vault status and be a part of Game Pass until this time next year. But Wild Hearts is coming out, I think, the week after. I think it's like February 17th, I think is the release date. And they're going to give us a 10-hour free trial of it via Game Pass, which I think is very cool. I'm figuring this game has kind of slipped under the radar a little bit, but it is basically EA's answer to Monster Hunter, which I think is very interesting that it's coming out like a week or two after Monster Hunter itself came to Game Pass. I think that's quite interesting. I don't know. Do you have any knowledge, excitement about this game? Because I feel like I have heard nothing. Like, this game just fell out of the ether.
I barely remember that this existed until you just said something about it.
Right.
Like, I don't feel like I remember anything about this until right now.
Yeah. I mean, I watched one trailer. I thought the trailer looked cool. Like, I'm not opposed to more Monster Hunter likes in my life, right? Because I've kind of played the hell out of all the actual Monster Hunter games, right? So, games that are like that, I'm down. I'm willing to give it a shot. And here's the thing. I don't have to pay any money to do that now, which is tight. Thank you. I don't know. This is not one that I'm, like, frothing at the mouth for, but the main game I was going to play in February, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, got delayed. So, like, I have free time now. So I'll probably give this one a look and report back. I'll let you know.
You know, I'm just looking it up right now to take a look at it. I realized I've literally not heard about this game at all. And when you said Wild Hearts, what I'm remembering hearing of is
Sayonara Wild Hearts.
Sayonara Wild Hearts.
Yep.
So yeah, I've not heard of this until you just told me about it. 3 minutes ago.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, this got announced sometime last year. I don't remember exactly when, but it has not had a long marketing stint. And given that this is coming from a major publisher in Electronic Arts, the fact that my co-host here never heard of it until right now, I think is somewhat problematic. But, you know, here's the thing. In a week, you're going to get to try it. And if you like it, cool, go buy it. If you don't, whatever, don't. It's cool. Yeah, so I'm glad that game that has gotten such little publicity is getting a trial through Game Pass. And it looks like it's on a week where not a whole lot else is going on in the world of Game Pass. So if you got the free time, hey, it's 10 hours of a free game. Go check it out.
Yeah, that's a good time to make it happen, I think.
Right, exactly. And last but not least, coming to the Game Pass list, Atomic Heart. I know this is a game you're very excited about, Spencer. I'm very excited about it as well. There was a new trailer that came out like a month ago now that had a bunch of new stuff in it.
There's been like a few trailers here and there.
Yeah, they've really been like peppering it in like, oh, hey, remember this is a thing that's happening in February. Like, I think they've done a very nice job of setting the expectations for this game, which is, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to expect from it other than, what the fuck is this? Okay, this is neat.
Yeah. If you haven't seen any trailers for Atomic Heart, it's very much this like retro-futuristic jaunt through Soviet era Russia with some wacky bullshit happening. The gameplay looks very what's the BioShock-esque,
Yeah,
I think.
that's one that people have compared it to as BioShock.
Yeah, it looks very BioShocky, but it's got this sort of like retro future Soviet vibe, which I think looks really cool. I mean, this is a game that we're probably like, unless something, takes us away, this is probably something we're going to be playing for the show.
Oh yeah, I think so. It's a big
Yeah,
one, so it almost makes sense that we would cover it and play it.
yeah, for sure. Like this is almost assuredly a game we're going to play for the show. So I don't want to give away too much or too early. But I think the game looks really cool, and I'm certainly excited to check it out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. If nothing else, just to see what the hell it is. Like, I feel like
Right.
we don't know a whole lot about the story and stuff of this game, right? I feel like we've seen some gameplay and a lot of weird shit.
I think it's better that way. Honestly, like this is the kind of game that I want to know the vibe and nothing else. That's all I want to know. I want to know what the vibe is, which is, hey, this is fucking weird, isn't it? Soviet Russia. Cool, I'm good. Like you don't have to tell me anymore. I'll figure it out in the first 5 hours and see if I like it. Like I'm good. You don't have to tell me anything else.
Yeah, I would kind of rather have that too, and especially with a game like this because it lets people kind of like start forming weird thoughts about the game and like their theories of what's going to happen as they play through it, and people will be posting on Twitter about that. People will be making videos about it, and I think that's a lot more fun than, all right, well, we know basically the entire story, now we just have to kind of like go do it,
Right.
which I feel like we get with some games and even some like films at this point. It's like the trailer gives away almost everything.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, well, why even go play it at this point?
Meanwhile, if you can watch the trailers for Atomic Heart and parse what the fuck is going on, I'm going to give you a medal. I'm going to go have a medal made.
Yeah.
So that you can, if you're smart enough and you got it down, once the game comes out, you can tell me what the story beats are before you even play the game. Medal. I will make you a medal.
Yeah, and like I'm sure there's some people who are like picking out some stuff here and there.
Sure.
But I can't imagine we know enough to even like kind of have an idea of what the full story is here, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm very much looking forward to piecing together that puzzle with you it'd probably be next month's show. Very much looking forward to that. Atomic Heart looks buck fucking wild, and I cannot wait to play it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Spencer, there's a handful of games that we're not going to be able to play anymore. There's some stuff leaving Game Pass. Let's be sad boys.
Need like a sad theme song here.
This is the worst part. This is the worst part of the show.
Yeah, this is always a bummer.
Yeah. Luckily, this month, it's not too bad. So games leaving Game Pass on February 15th. We've got Besiege, Infernax, Recompile, Skull the Hero Slayer, The Last Kids on Earth and the Staff of Doom, and last and certainly least, Crossfire X. So no huge losses this time. I do want to give a shout out to Infernax, which is this sort of Castlevania-inspired RPG side scroller that deals a lot with player choice that I think is really interesting. That's a game I checked out last year and thought it was pretty cool. So that's a game worth checking out before it leaves the library. You got about a week and you can absolutely get through it in a week. Also, Skull the Hero Slayer is a game we talked about last year whenever it came to Game Pass, and like, it's fine. It's very ho-hum, very mediocre. We talked about it on the show very briefly. And then Crossfire X was a dumpster fire, as we all are aware.
So is this including the campaign too, or is it just the multiplayer?
The campaign is what's leaving Game Pass. The multiplayer is shutting down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that game obviously did not work out. Life goes on. But yeah, no huge losses here. Go check out Infernax before it leaves, but otherwise, for me, no huge losses here. We're good.
Yeah. This is thankfully a month where we're not losing any big titles that were like must play or like life-changing video games. you kind of said it at the end there. All right, well, Crossfire X.
Yeah, right, exactly.
No, please don't.
I don't think anyone is gonna miss Crossfire X, to be honest. So I think that's just fine. There's maybe one poor misguided soul with a buck tooth that's like, I really like Crossfire X. Otherwise, dumb fucks. No, get out of here. There's like one guy. And if you are the one guy that likes Crossfire X, medal, it's yours. I don't know why I'm making medals today, but here we are.
I'll tell you what. And along with that medal, we'll let you find a new game to play that's better.
We'll help you pick a better game to play.
I promise you'll find one.
Yeah, it will not be hard. So that's all the stuff that's leaving Game Pass. A pretty ho-hum list. We're pretty good with that one, I think. Obviously, there will be another list of stuff leaving Game Pass at the very end of the month. We'll probably cover that on the next episode if we know what it is by then. But yeah, no huge losses. I'm good. I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm not overly concerned.
Cool. Let's get back into the realm of new games. We have a couple of games here that we know are coming to Game Pass. In fact, I've got 3 that I want to highlight here really quickly that have demos going on in Steam Next Fest. So if you're not aware, Steam Next Fest is this sort of big thing that Valve does once a quarter, basically. It seems like they've been doing it because they did one back in October. It seems like it's something they're doing every quarter now, where they have a whole bunch of freely available demos for indie games for a week. So there's a bunch of cool indie games that you can go check out on Steam right now. 3 of those games, Everspace 2, Planet of Lana, and The Last Case of Benedict Fox, those 3 games are coming to Game Pass later this year. There's probably more. There's over 900 games in Steam Next Fest. I did not have time to go through the full list. So
many.
There's probably more demos of stuff that is coming to Game Pass. Those are the 3 that I wanted to highlight. In particular, I wanted to highlight The Last Case of Benedict Fox because that one just got a release date yesterday, April 27th. That game will be coming to all of its platforms, including Xbox Game Pass. I know you were particularly excited about that one last year when they announced it, Spencer, so I wanted to give you another little shot to talk about it.
Yeah, that game just looks so interesting. Like, the art style and everything just looks very, very up my alley of things that I like, right? It's creepy, it's dark, it's a little, like, Lovecraftian and Cthulhu-esque. So it looks cool. I'm very interested in checking it out. I don't know if I'll have time to check out the demo, but either way, it's coming to Game Pass, so I'll be able to play it in April. It sounds like. Yeah, exactly. I just think it looks. I just think it looks neat.
Hey, I think it looks neat. I just think it looks neat. I feel like this game is like the perfect fusion of what we're into. Like, for you, the game has the aesthetic that you like, and for me, it has the gameplay that I like.
Yeah.
Like, it's a 2D side-scroller. I think they've said that now that it's a Metroidvania, which is not my preferred style of 2D platformer, but that's fine. That's fine. I can appreciate a good Metroidvania. I just have to be in the right mood for it. Like, I literally, I just talked on the show last month about playing fucking Castlevania Aria of Sorrow, right? So, like, I can appreciate a good Metroidvania. So those are a handful of games you can check out on Next Fest. I would highly recommend going and checking out Last Case of Benedict Fox. I'm probably going to check it out before Next Fest is over because I am interested in it. That's probably the game from this list that I saw that I'm interested in the most. There's like one Inti Creates game, which I've already played the demo for, and it's great. I don't need to know anymore. I'm going to buy it when it comes out. I'm good.
I'm already sold. Don't even worry about it.
You don't even worry about it, Inti. You're going to get more of my dirty fucking money. Every single time with this fucking company, man. Like, their new game is like a Castlevania style game too, and I just got done with Aria of Sorrow, and it's like, great, hey, here's $30, NT, thank you much.
I'll do it again.
I'll do it again. But anyway, back on topic here. I don't know a ton about Everspace 2 or Planet of Lana, so I just saw some screenshots. The games look spacey. That's cool. I like that. That's a good aesthetic. Other than that, I don't really know a whole lot about them other than there's demos available now. Go check them out.
Yeah, I don't know too much about any of them either, other than like we're talking about them right now. I feel like Lightyear Frontier, I feel like I've seen before.
Does that have a demo?
I don't know. I'm looking at a different article, I think now. So
Yeah.
I might be talking about something entirely different.
Yeah, you know what? I looked. Yeah, I know the article you're talking about.
Yeah, on the
because
Wire.
they highlighted those games on the Wire because most of them have a demo. I looked up Lightyear Frontier. It doesn't.
It does
But
not. Okay.
it's coming to early access like real soon. It's like a couple weeks.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, if you're into that kind of thing anyway, it won't matter.
Right.
You'll get to check it out soon.
That game was also in the summer showcase. That was the like
Yeah.
robot farming game. Yeah, that was in the summer showcase.
Yeah, it's just farming and robots.
Yeah, which like, I like half of those things.
Yeah.
So
not enough to play with the other half though.
I might look at it. But I'll watch a video.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll watch somebody else do it.
Yeah, I'll watch somebody else play it for a little bit, see how it goes. All right. So that's all the stuff we know that's coming for February. That's all the stuff you can go check out today. That's all the stuff you can go check out in the next couple of weeks. A decent month for Game Pass, but certainly not like mind-altering. Like Atomic Heart is really the only highlight here. IMO.
Yeah, I think Atomic Heart's your obviously your big flagship for the month.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Hot Wheels looks cool. I think it looks fun.
Too.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
But I also don't think it's like earth-shattering big game, right? Like it's just again, it looks neat.
Yeah, exactly. So, like I will probably goof around with Hot Wheels for a weekend, and I will play Atomic Heart.
Is it multiplayer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably play it at the next month on the stream when we get back to that.
Right, yeah, whenever we get back to the gameplay stream.
Yeah, it looks like it would be a fun goof around game with a friend or two for an evening.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm going to be like hooked on it or anything, but it looks fun.
Yeah, it looks fun. I'll definitely give it a shot. A lot of great Hot Wheels gaming content on Game Pass between that game and Horizon 5, which you have to buy the Horizon 5 DLC. So it's the only Hot Wheels based content on Game Pass.
Yeah,
I suppose.
Look, man, Hot Wheels is cool. All right,
Hot Wheels is cool. I agree
cool
with you.
As hell.
I would, if I had expendable income, I'd buy those big ass tracks that just be going around my fucking apartment.
Dude, I would love that so much. I have like a million Hot Wheels from when I was a kid. When they used to be like 89 cents a piece, like back in my day, I could get a Hot Wheel for under $1.
Yeah, I think they're like a smidge over $1 now. They're like
some that are like $4 or $5, dude. It's wild now.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. If I could fill my house with those tracks and drive the cars around them and probably have my cats chase them, I'd be set for a week.
Well, I know what somebody's getting for his birthday. Anyway,
man, sounds fun.
Let's get back to Game Pass here. I wanted to talk. We got two big sort of news stories that we wanted to talk about here. Developer Direct. Now, obviously, Developer Direct was a few weeks ago. We're a bit late to the game on this one, so I don't want to belabor the point too much. I feel like at this point, if you are plugged in at all, you know what happened at Developer Direct. But I wanted to get your sort of top line thoughts, Spencer. What did you think about the show overall?
I can tell you what I thought about the show overall. I'm so fucking excited for Redfall. I can't even contain myself. Give me Redfall. I'm excited for that game. It looks so freaking good, Mark.
Yep.
Yeah. That's all I got. No, it's not. I'm kidding. I really liked this show. They did, for one, exactly what they said they were going to do. They said, we're going to come out here, we're going to show you some games, and that's it. And that's what they did. And it was great. I like that they really, like we've said a lot of times, kind of set the expectations for the show. They definitely underpromised and over-delivered on this show.
I completely agree.
The Hi-Fi Rush surprise drop.
Yeah.
Not only on the show, but also, by the way, you can go play it today. Like
right now.
Right now, when they announced it, they said, yeah, just go ahead and go play it, dude. Isn't that cool? Like, if they can always do things like that, I think they're set with these shows. If they can always say, look, this is what's going to happen. These are your expectations. Do not believe above them. And at least meet that, we're good. And then if they sometimes pepper in something extra special we weren't expecting, even better.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think they did an excellent job setting expectations and going above those expectations. I think the move to make Hi-Fi Rush a shadow drop was brilliant.
Oh yeah.
Because that is a game, you got to remember, this is made by Tango Gameworks, who we know as a horror developer,
Yeah.
right? You got to remember, Shinji Mikami also made Devil May Cry. So, like, it's in Mikami's wheelhouse. But it's a surprise game from that studio. And I think if that game went under the intense scrutiny that Xbox is under on social media at all times right now, I think that game would have been torn the fuck apart. But they didn't give it time to do that. They just said, hey, it's out, go play it.
Yep.
Form your own opinion, right? Like, they didn't give it the opportunity to be caught in the negativity cycle that so many Xbox properties are sort of in right now.
Right.
They didn't give it a chance to get locked into that, and people went and they played it, and pretty much everyone says that it's fun. I have yet to hear anything like it's a bad game. Everything I've heard is like it's good. So I think that's a smashing success for Xbox. Having a game that doesn't get caught in the negativity cycle for Xbox is a huge win. Just start there. That's a huge win by itself.
Yeah.
And then you stack on top everything else that they showed looked good. Redfall looked great. They kept the Elder Scrolls Online segment blissfully short because, like, you're not going to sell that game to anybody that's not already playing it at this point.
Yeah.
They set that expectation. They said, here's 5 minutes of it. Cool. You want more? We got a stream after. Go check that out. That's perfect. That's all they needed to do, right?
Yeah. And I want to say with that too, like, this is not entirely related to the Xbox portion of it or the content portion of it, but I loved that they were just like, great, we're done talking about this on our show or on this show. Now come watch our show afterwards, and they're tearing down the set that he's on and building their show set behind him as it's happening. I was like, man, this is just good production value, and it's and makes me want to watch the other one, right? Like, all right, what are they building back there? Let's check this out.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I bet almost no one else cared about that but me.
I thought it was neat.
I was like, as somebody, smart.
As somebody that's, done a little bit of, like, set direction at various points in my life, like, yeah, I thought it was cool. So they kept that segment blissfully short, which I was incredibly happy about. I'm, again, you're not going to sell that game on a big AAA way. So glad that they got that short and sweet and to the point. Redfall looked fucking awesome. Minecraft Legends, I thought looked really impressive. That was the first time that I was like, oh yeah, I kind of want to play Minecraft Legends. I'm into this. Like, I want to play this game. The multiplayer I just thought looked really sweet. It very much reminded me of the multiplayer of Brutal Legend, which I don't know if that's a game people have played. That is a game that's on Game Pass because it's a Double Fine game. So that's a game you can go check out right now. The stage battle multiplayer is what I'm talking about. I don't know that the multiplayer servers are still up, but there's a couple of tastes of it in the single player campaign. It reminded me a lot of that as a sort of third person RTS. I think that game looks really cool. And then obviously the only disappointment of the show, I would say, is we didn't really learn a whole lot more about Forza.
Yeah. We kind of were just like, hey, we're making Forza.
It's pretty.
It's still pretty, and it'll come out.
Remember last time when we said spring 2023? Yeah, we're just saying 2023 now. I think that game's been delayed.
Yeah, or you and I were talking about this as the show was going because you were at work, so we couldn't like sit together and talk about it. So we were texting that it's kind of it could have been a placeholder point of like if Starfield got delayed again for some reason, which I cannot stress enough. I'm not saying that's what's happening, internet. Calm the fuck down. I can already hear people going and losing their shit. No, I'm not saying that's what's happened. If it was, they could say, hey, we're going to plug Forza in at that time and pull Starfield back. Or vice versa. Starfield's coming out as planned, pull Forza back so that they're not a competing thing going on here in our own world. Like in our own ecosystem.
This is something that Nintendo did last year, right? Like, they moved Xenoblade Chronicles and Splatoon around.
Yeah.
You know, like this is something that another game company literally did last year. Like, oh, okay, Xenoblade needs a couple more months. Sick, no problem. Splatoon's ready. We'll just push that up and push Xenoblade back. No
Yeah.
problem. So I think that's possible. That if something's going on with Starfield, they have Forza there ready to plug in. But that's just speculation on my part. I don't think that's going to be the case. I mean, we haven't heard anything definitive about Starfield in a while. They did say they're going to do their own show on it in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So like we'll find out then, I suppose. But overall, yeah, I think the content that they showed at Developer Direct was really good. I think they set the expectation. I think they exceeded expectation. I think they did a very nice job. The only disappointment was not more info on Forza. But like, if you hit on 4 out of the 5 games you show, that's a successful show.
Yeah, especially when one of them was a game we didn't even know about until that show.
Exactly.
Right? Like, we had no idea this game was coming. There was zero information about it. And then it was suddenly released, like, 30 minutes later.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like, when you're hitting like that, you can't be too mad, right? So on the content of the show itself, it's like an A-, right? It's like almost a perfect show from Xbox, which we have not had in a long time.
Yeah, that's for damn sure.
What did you think about the format of the show? Like, let's disregard the content. We've talked about the content. The format of the show. Is this a format Xbox should keep going forward?
I think this is a format almost everyone should keep going forward. It was very to the point. It gave us the information that we needed without having like a ton of extra fluff in it. It wasn't like we're on stage and we have a giant car made out of Legos or whatever we've done in the past with various Forza announcements. And it's like, okay, I mean, that would be cool if I was there next to it, I guess. But I'm at home watching on my 24-inch monitor. Can we please just tell me about the video game that I can play? I don't think we need everything to be like the biggest show of the year, right? Like sometimes you just need, here's the Saturday morning special of we're making some games.
Yeah. I will agree with you with a caveat.
Okay.
I will agree with you with a caveat. I think the show that you make from like month to month, like every I figure this is a show they'll probably make every like 4 or so months.
Yeah,
right?
This feels like a quarterly thing.
A quarterly thing, right? Like you do this like once a quarter.
Yeah.
I will agree with you on 3 of the 4 quarters. For spring, fall, winter, no problem. Do this format. For summer, I miss E3 shows. I miss so much the big bombastic, everyone's on a stage, everyone's cheering, crying, laughing, and they made a fucking car out of Legos. Go play laser tag in the aisles right now. That's an old Ubisoft one. I miss goofy E3 shows so goddamn much. So the summer one, make that one that. Do that for the summer one, and then all the rest of them can be this format. I think that is just fine.
Yeah, or even like have one of those big shows when big things are happening, right? Like we're announcing games that nobody's seen before, or we're announcing the release date for the biggest game of the decade. Great, make this a big performance. But when it's literally like what we saw of, hey, you've seen these games for years at this point. Yeah. You know what's happening. You know it's coming. You literally just want the information. Let's just bullet point, boom, 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 get it done. Right. Where, like, I didn't need, like, a huge show to say that Redfall's coming out in May, right? Like, if somebody could have walked out on stage, didn't show me anything else, didn't show me new gameplay, and just literally went, May 23rd. And walked off stage, and I'd be like, great, I'm still going to play the shit out of that game. I'm sold on that game entirely. And I think if we're at that point where the games have been announced, we've seen a ton of gameplay for it, we know that it's coming. And we are like, within the year that it's getting released, or even like the few months that it's getting released, this bullet point, big, quick, just boom, 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 get it done, is what we need.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like, hey, we're announcing new IPs that you've never seen before, or the next game in like the Gears series, or the next game in whatever other series we want to talk about, yeah, those should be big shows. I fully agree with that. Those are fun. They're exciting. And I think they get people hyped for those new games where when we know what's coming, I don't need any more hype. Like, I'm already there. I just need to play the game.
Right, exactly. You just need to give me information at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, and it needs to be... I like that it's more than just a tweet, right?
Right.
Because it is them talking about it and saying, we're excited for you to check out the game, and here's some information, blah, 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 versus, like, comes out in May. Please play game.
Right, exactly.
And then it's like 4,000 headlines, pick up the tweet, and that's it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Overall, yeah, I completely agree. I think this is a format they should hold on to. If you can do a more bombastic version of this for summer, and then just do this version of the show for the rest of the seasons, I'm good. Like, this is what we wanted Xbox to do this year, right?
Yeah.
Like, we sort of set out from the front, hey, Game Pass needs a flagship game every month, which so far, like, I think I was about to say we're missing March, but I think Wolong is coming out in March.
Is it still?
I think. We've got up until summer, when they will presumably have another show to tell us what's coming. We have a flagship game.
Yeah.
Pretty much every month. So, like, they're doing what we asked them to do. That's the big thing for me, is like, we as the Xbox fan base have said, hey, all we want is a flagship game for Game Pass every month, and an Xbox Game Pass studio or an Xbox Game Studio release every, like, quarter, right? That's all we're asking for. We're not asking you to move heaven and earth. I know game development's not easy, but I don't think people are expecting, Microsoft, Xbox Game Studios to put out something new every fucking week, right? Like, we're asking for 4 big games a year and then fill in the rest with third party.
Right.
And they're doing that, right? Like, I don't think you can look at the schedule for the first half of the year and say Xbox has no games, because that's always been the complaint, right?
Yeah.
You cannot look at the schedule for Game Pass for the next year and say there's nothing to play on your Xbox. There is a fucking ton to play on your Xbox, and they showcase that in this showcase. And I think that is a stunning success.
Yeah, and I think that's what everyone wants, right? People are worried about, I don't have any games to play if I buy an Xbox, or I have an Xbox and Game Pass. What the hell am I getting out of it now? Now you know. And
right.
Hopefully these kind of things are can put people's minds at ease of, okay, no, we're fine. We've got games coming. It was just a rough year, dude. These things happen.
Right, yeah. 2022 was just kind of a rough year for Xbox Game Studios. Everything that they had planned to come out that year fell apart on them. Like, it happens.
And
like,
I mean, I don't think that's only for Xbox, right? I feel like that kind of happened across the whole gaming industry.
Right.
There were a few big titles for everybody here and there, but nothing like we've seen in the past, over a decade, right? Like, usually we're getting huge games left and right constantly.
Yeah.
But I think over the past couple of years, with everything that's happened, with COVID and various things, and everything has kind of gotten pushed behind, not just video games, right?
Right. 2022 was the year we actually felt 2020's impact.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So, because the stuff that came out in 2020 and early 2021 was stuff that was, like, close to finished anyway, right? This was stuff that probably started work in 2019, and then 2020 happened, and it's like, oh, fuck, we're supposed to come out in 2022. The world changes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So this was the year we felt that impact, and 2023 sort of seems like, to me anyway, all of that sort of backwash that got pushed back, all of it's coming all at once. 2023 is going to be a nutty year for video games.
Yeah.
And Xbox is right at the front doorstep of it, I think. Like, they've got a massive library of stuff, either through third-party partners or Xbox Game Studios themselves. I think they've got a killer year coming up, and these developer directs are a great way to showcase that.
Yeah, I'm into them. I'm ready for more this year.
Well, Spencer, if you're ready for more this year, are you ready to wildly speculate about Gears of War 6?
Absolutely, I am.
Hell yeah. So via Jeff Grubb, which I do want to note before we get into this, Jeff Grubb has a pretty high hit rate. He doesn't have a 100% hit rate in the world of Xbox. I would trust a Jez Corden over a Jeff Grubb when it comes to Microsoft news. But Jeff is usually, overall across the industry, has a pretty good hit rate, right? So he hits more than he misses. So grain of salt, but Jeff, during his Monday Games Mess show, talked about the Coalition. And we've talked multiple times on the past in the news segment about the Coalition's working on a new project. The Coalition's working on a new project. According to Jeff Grubb, the Coalition is no longer working on a new project. They're working on Gear 6.
Yep.
Apparently, what had happened was they had a handful of games that they were sort of experimenting with to get the handle on Unreal Engine 5. And they were also supporting 343 with Halo Infinite. They were supporting Epic Games with that Matrix demo thing that they did. They were a support studio for both of those. And then they were working on these side projects to figure out Unreal 5. And apparently after the Microsoft layoffs, which we didn't talk about on the show, but a bunch of people got laid off at Microsoft. Obviously that sucks. After those layoffs, the decision was made at the Coalition. All right, these side projects, we're going to shelve them. We know enough about Unreal 5 now to make Gear 6.
Yeah.
So we're just going to make Gear 6. I'm kind of two minds on this one, Spencer. And I'll let you go here in a second. I'm kind of two minds. One, obviously, incredibly excited that Gear 6 is being worked on. It's happening. We're not going to have to wait until like 2029 or whatever the fuck. Like I was kind of thinking. Gear 6 is happening. We're going to get to play it within the next few years. Obviously, that's incredibly exciting. On the same token, though, I think the Coalition is the most underrated AAA game developer in the space right now, and I would love to see them stretch their wings. And I'm a little sad that we're not going to get to know what it was they were working on. Like, I would love to see the Coalition get up there and compete with the other big, well-known AAA games that aren't shooters. Like these big sort of open world games or the big multiplayer third-person game. Like, I would love to see them get in competition with the kind of games that Sony is known for. I'll just say it flat out. I think that they could compete with those style of games easily. Like, they already do it, but Gears of War, as we talked about in our last episode, has this stigma of the dude bro shooter era of Xbox, right? It has that on it, for better or for worse. I happen to like it now, but it has that on it. So there's a lot of people that are just going to go, Gears of War, macho dude bro shooter game, don't care. There's a lot of people that are going to do that. And as crazy as it sounds for us as Xbox fans, there's a lot of people that are going to do that. And I would love to see the Coalition be able to work on something broader that is a new IP that's theirs, that they own. But God damn it, Gears 5 ended on a hell of a cliffhanger, and I want to see how they wrap that story up. So, like, I'm kind of two minds, right? Like, I'm excited, but I'm also sad,
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel the same way, right? Like, I'm excited for Gear 6. I've loved the Gears of War games. We've been replaying them on the streams.
Yep.
We've been having fun with them. I had fun with them when I played them originally. So I'm always down for an IP and a title that I already enjoy to continue going, especially if it's going well.
Right.
There's games that don't go super well, and I'm like, maybe we just let it die.
Right.
But Gears has been solid still. So I'm excited to see what they're gonna make next, where that story goes, because just like you said, it ended on a big cliffhanger. So we're all sitting here going, okay, well, what the hell's next, guys? Let me know. Cue me in here.
Please, I swear to God, I need to know.
But yeah, I think they could have made something really cool outside of Gears. Like, they're not just a robot that makes Gears of War, right? Like
Right.
they're creative people. They're a creative team that can make super cool stuff. So it would be neat to see what else they can do outside of Gears. But I also get the businessy side of it of, look, dude, we got bills to pay.
Right.
We can only devote so many resources to things at once, and unfortunately we need to put all of those on our big title, which is
Right.
Gears.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, that is just kind of the way of the world, right? Like you have this big established IP, and the last Gears of War game came out in 2019, which isn't like this gigantic layoff, but it's a layoff,
Right.
right? Like it's we're a few months gone or a few years gone from that now. And we did have Gears Tactics to sort of like fill the gap. That filled the gap for a little bit. And now we're kind of at this point where like we announced a movie's coming. We announced, they have a card game tie-in that's coming out really soon. There's a bunch of tie-in Gears of War media content that's coming soon, and there's no game to go with it.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that if this Netflix movie is happening 2 or 3 years from now, let's say, it makes sense that there needs to be a game to go with it.
Yeah.
And I assume the business decision was made of like, we can either dedicate resources to a new IP, which is a risk, or we can go to this established thing. And they went, okay, yeah, we've learned enough. We can shelve these experiments and go back to what we know.
Yeah.
That being said, I do hope that after Gear 6, after they wrap that thing up in a nice little bow, hopefully they get a chance to go back to the drawing board on those ideas. Hopefully it's not just like, this is garbage now, Gears.
Yeah.
Hopefully they get a chance to go back to those experiments, because I so desperately want to see what the Coalition can do outside of Gears of War. I obviously want them to keep making Gears of War because I really enjoy it. But like, if Gear 6 wraps up the story, like if we're good, if we're done with the second like sequel trilogy of Gears after Gear 6, let them be free. Let them do something else.
Yeah, like I don't think that would be the worst thing in the world. The game's gone
No.
on for how long now? Like
The game just reached its 16th year anniversary. The original game came out over 16 years ago.
yeah, so by the time this one comes out, we're gonna be pushing 20 years.
Yeah.
We could probably make some more games. It would be okay, I
Yeah.
promise. There will be other good things to come.
Yeah. I think it would be just fine if after Gear 6 we wrap the story up that we're trying to tell here with Kate and the new team. I think you can leave it at a point where you can come back to it in the future if you want to. But give it a rest for a little bit and let this very talented team, in my opinion, the most talented team Xbox has, let them go do something else for a little bit. And I think you'll be very happy with the results.
Yeah, and maybe we'll be at a point for the studio where they can say, all right, we've made Gear 6. We've done our trilogy, essentially.
Yeah.
We've got the base for it here. You guys can take a small team and make a side project in Gears like they did with Judgment if they just really want to cash in on the Gears name, or say, look, you guys keep the multiplayer maintained. Maybe we make like some DLC for multiplayer, or make some like other game modes to go along with it. We're going to make a new title. And then we'll come back to Gears after we put the new title kind of in between. And then they can kind of back and forth between each IP, right? And I think that would be good for everybody. I think it would keep it fresh for fans. I think it would keep it fresh for people working on these games, because you're doing something new and creative at that point versus, all right, well, we've made Gears of War. We know what we're doing. It's not a template, but it's a little bit more template work in their head, you know?
Right.
So let's do something in between. Let's keep those creative muscles fresh and flexed.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I would love for the Coalition to get to that point. They're not there yet, and that's fine. But I would love for the Coalition to have two consistent IPs that they can sort of ping pong back and forth between.
Yeah.
I think that'd be the best thing for everybody, because I think this is Xbox's best studio, and I want to see their work.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love the work the Coalition has done. I think Gears 4 is a phenomenal video game. I think Gears 5 had some multiplayer issues. Um, but Gears 5 is 3/4 of a great campaign. Act 3 is whack, and the rest of it's amazing, right? So, like, I just want to see the Coalition spread its wings, because I think they deserve it. I think a lot of attention in Microsoft land gets paid to 343, and rightfully so. Um, but I wish more positive attention was put on the Coalition and the work that they've done in picking up Gears. Because I think, aside from, again, a story miss in the Gears 5 campaign, which is not a gigantic deal to anyone but me, and the multiplayer of Gears 5 not being spectacular,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can complain about anything else the Coalition has done.
Yeah,
So,
and to be honest with you, I think since they've taken over, they've stayed more true and authentic to the Gears universe than 343 has to Halo.
yeah,
You know?
you're gonna get angry people online from hearing that, but
I
like
don't
I
give a
think you're
shit.
right.
I don't give
I
a
think
shit.
you're right.
Of the two of us that are going to say something about Halo, I think I fucking earned that right.
Yeah,
And I don't think there's that many people who are going to disagree with that. There's so many people in the Halo community that are like, it died when Bungie let it go. Which, like, look, dude, I'm not the biggest fan of those games after Halo 3 either. But I'm not saying they're bad games, right?
right.
But I do think that they have deviated the farthest from the base material, if that's what we want to call it, from
Sure.
Bungie handing over to 343 versus Epic handing over to Coalition.
Right. Yeah.
That's what happened. Those are facts.
Yeah.
It's even opinion at
Yeah.
this point. Like, just look at them. But I think that the reason that Halo is bigger, still a bigger name, and 343 gets all the attention is because I do think it's more approachable.
Yeah.
Right?
I
Like,
get that.
there's a lot of people that play shooters and are like, okay, it's a shooter, I'm shooting at people. But I didn't literally watch a dude's head explode. I didn't stomp on someone's head and watch it, like, go all over the ground. It was like, I shot a dude in a robot suit. Okay. Like, it's not as polarizing as Gears can be, I think. So
Right,
it's become more of, like, almost not a household name, but it is definitely something that, like, a parent would look at and be like, it's a little violent, but okay. Versus Gears of War, they're like, what the fuck is this, dude? No,
Right.
Timmy, you cannot play this. What's wrong
Right.
with you?
Exactly. Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, so that's what the Coalition's up to. Apparently they're making Gear 6. Maybe we see it at the summer show. It's probably a little early for that, but
Yeah. I think if anything, we would maybe see a logo. Like,
yeah,
we've seen like a
here's the
little
logo.
fly through of the world, and then the logo comes up just saying, we're doing it. Kind of
Right.
similar to how we had with Fable, right?
Right. Well, and here's the thing. I think Microsoft wants to get away from that. I get the vibe that there's a lot of people that are upset that they've announced games too early. And I think Microsoft wants to get away from that. If you look at the new format of Developer Direct, I think they want to get away from that style of reveal. And I think they want to start showing people stuff when it's closer.
I hope they
Right.
do, honestly. Because
Yeah.
for me, and I don't think I'm the only person who thinks this, there are too many games that get announced too early. And then by the time it comes out, I go, I just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I have lost all hype for this game because it's been announced for 7 years. And then
Yeah.
we didn't see anything about it for 5 years. And then suddenly
Right.
it's coming out. And I'm like, oh, I don't care anymore. I just don't care.
I'm a big fan of the year cycle
Mm-hmm.
of you announce it a year before it's going to come out. And then you go dark for a few months, and then you can sort of piecemeal, like, oh, okay, this is coming out this is coming out this is, and then,
Yeah.
I think a good video game hype cycle probably takes about a year.
Yeah.
Then again, it has worked the opposite way for other games. Like, so much of Elden Ring's success, I think, was that FromSoft went dark and just didn't say anything for like 3 years, and everyone was like, where the fuck is it? I think it can be effective the other way. But I think Microsoft has tried the other way and it hasn't worked. So
I also
it's
think
time to switch it to the other format.
Yeah, I also think only so many IPs and studios could get away with that, right? Like From Software fans are die-hard fans, and if
yes,
you
they are.
or even remotely look at their baby wrong, they will come for you with pitchforks and fire. So they were ready. They were like, I don't care what it is, I want it. Put it in my face, and I will play it. But then you get like, a title that no one's ever heard of before, a brand new IP, and it's like, I don't know if I'm excited or not anymore. Like, I don't have anything built into this already to know that I'm gonna like it.
Right.
So I think there are people who can get away with it, and I think Microsoft has some studios that could do that. I absolutely think Bethesda could just show us an Elder Six Scroll logo for a decade and people would still lose their shit.
Right.
And then the day the game comes out, would put in 9,000 hours to it. Right. But like, I don't think Gears of War has that as much. I think the Gears fans will be excited, but they'll be like, but I want to play it now. I'm not expecting another decade wait.
Right. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Yeah. There's probably a handful of franchises that Microsoft can do that with. I mean, look at, that was their strategy for Avowed, Everwild, and Fable, right? People remember that Fable's still coming out because Fable has some sort of brand name equity built into it.
Yeah.
I think if you ask the average person, hey, Everwild and Avowed are still being worked on, people would just stare at you with blank eyes because those games got announced in 2019.
Exactly.
It's 2023. We haven't seen them yet. And I'm the only human being on planet fucking Earth still excited for Everwild.
Right. Like, yeah, Fable has a little bit of that because it was there from the original Xbox, right? Like the Xbox One was the only console we didn't have a Fable title for.
Right. Yeah, you can do that with Fable and Perfect Dark.
Yeah,
you can't do that with a new IP.
They're so established already. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, people know what that is. People have loved them for, and like I said, Fable came out on the original Xbox. So what, 20 years at this point? They're gonna play the new one when it comes out. They're excited about it. But then, Everwild comes out, and they're like, okay, what is this? I've never seen this before. And then we kind of don't get a lot about it for a while. And it starts to leave people's minds because there's 9 million pieces of media that come out every day on the internet. And new video games get announced so often that people are like, oh yeah, I remember, I guess they talked about that one time. Is that still a thing? Did they cancel that? What's going on?
And unless you're like me and have an illness and have watched the Everwild trailer 800 times.
Yeah, and I mean, like, there are definitely some people that it's immediately going to click with, right?
Right.
Like, it's going to click with people who are going to say, I need to know more about this. I'm very excited by the premise of this game and follow along with it. But your mass audience isn't going to do that, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes for our fine friends at the Coalition. Obviously, I'm very excited to see what they do next. If it is Gear 6, if they do, if Jeff Grubb is totally wrong and they're still working on the other thing, even better, great. I'm very excited to see what that studio is up to, and I'm very excited about this month in Game Pass, dude. We got some good stuff coming. We got good games coming down the line. We got Atomic Heart coming out. We got Hi-Fi Rush to still play. That's what we're going to be playing for our main episode of the show that's coming out next week on the podcast feed. If you're listening on the podcast feed the day after, remember that this show goes live on Tuesdays. Live! Like I'm a fucking prepubescent child here. It goes live, very excitingly, on Twitch on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 9 Central. But you can listen to it the next day on the podcast feed. You can check out the show on YouTube. You can check out the show on every social media. If there's a social media, we're on it. Go there. Go check it out. Come talk Game Pass with us. We'll love it. We're going to be back next week for the main Game Pass show, or the main Game Club show, I should say, talking a little bit about Hi-Fi Rush, the big surprise that came out of Developer Direct. And then we'll be back with the news the week after that. So thank you guys so much for coming in. We really do appreciate you coming live, or if you're listening to this on the podcast feed the next day, we really do appreciate that too. Thank you guys so much for coming in. And we'll see ya next week for some Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah, dude. I'm excited about that game. It looks wild.
Yeah, me too. I'm very excited to talk about it. Thank you guys so much for coming in. We'll see you for the next one.